Good morning and a warm, joyful welcome to Open Heavens Church. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome home. You're already part of our family, and we're so glad you're here. We believe God has something special in store for you today. We're thrilled to launch our brand new series this month, Journey of Discovery, an uplifting, life changing message from Apostle Samuel Anderson-Aidoo that will ignite your faith and draw you closer to God. Get ready to be encouraged, refreshed, and reminded of the amazing power and victory we have in Jesus. Don't forget to follow us on social media and download the Open Heavens app on the App Store and Google Play Store for all the latest updates, events, and ways to stay connected with OHC.
On Wednesday, by God's grace, I started, for the past month, I've been talking about discovery. And still some of us don't get it. So you still don't get it. The idea of church, has overshadowed the divine plan of God for humanity. Let me repeat. The idea of church has overshadowed or override the kingdom that God has brought us in, and the purpose why God brought us into this kingdom. Like Mordecai was telling Esther, if you don't save us, help will come from somewhere. But who knows why God brought you into the kingdom in such a time like this? Last Wednesday, I started by talking about divine discovery of purpose. Discovery of purpose. And I believe that if you are able to discover what God has placed you on this earth to do, to satisfy Him, to honor Him, you will be honored before God and in the presence of angels, because you actually live a life of purpose. And I said, when purpose is not known, abuse is inevitable. What I mean is that if the purpose of a car key is not known, you will use it as a toothpick. Or a piece to removing things from your ears. Car key is for car. When purpose is not known, you can abuse anything that is supposed to benefit you. Purpose. And so you look into the life of Esther. She least esteemed her presence in the king's palace, but the king was fascinated about the queen. But the uncle knew that she was not there only to be hailed by the king and the people, but there is a reason why God has placed her in that palace. And so the Esther that she was didn't have any idea of why he was in the palace. But in the mind of God, the God that we serve specifically planted Esther in that palace for the life of the Jews. Why and who, on the basis of that person that God placed you on this earth here? It can be one person. It can be a family. It can be a group. It can be a nation. That God has placed you. That if you discover your purpose, your influence, your life will be a blessing unto many lives. As a purpose is the one that engineer our life to know the direction of our calling and our giftings and our spiritual authority. Purpose will prepare you that because I am ready to do such a thing in my life and in the life of people, you have time to, train yourself and educate yourself and be able to equip yourself properly. I remember some years back when Dancing came. We didn't have, instrumentalists. So James was coming in to help the choir and everything. And Dancing came and the dad was, oh, my son is coming. When he came, he knows how to play the keyboard. So I was happy and he came. But when he came, he was not skillful. And the church he was going, they normally use our local song. So he was confused about the whole thing. So I said, okay. At that time, we had two keyboards. I picked one. I said, take it home. He said, for me alone, I said, yeah, you go and learn. I gave him a keyboard. I said, I see you becoming a skillful player. So take this one. And when you make a mistake, this guy will be complaining. No, I don't like, because that was when we went back home, that's what the song we were singing, and this guy was complaining. I said, you're going to play that keyboard. You're going to play. You will play. You was making mistakes. I said, you play. He kept on. He kept on. He kept on. And this guy became skillful. And we happened to have divine. I said, hey, see, both of you cannot play the keyboard, even though we have two keyboards. But I need you to play the bass guitar. He said, no. I've never touched it before. I said, you touch it. I said, you touch it. Straight away, I went to the guitar center, bought, bass guitar and the combo. I get to the father, I said, go and give it to him. He came to Jesus, said, I don't know. I said, you pray. Because James is gone. Divine knows all the keyboards, so everything. So, yes, he will help you. And this guy became so, skillful. And he's so happy when he's playing. He can play songs that he's happy just easily. He didn't start like that. But because he discovered that is an ability in him that he doesn't know. He doesn't know. When he was going to school, I said, hey, I said, Lord, what do I do? I said, oh, hey, Evans, go and play the bass guitar. He said, no, I've never touched. Even the drums, I know also, but I can't. I said, you play. I said, do you want me to buy? He said, don't buy anything for me. I will see you. I said, you're not seeing, you're going to do it. Small but small. This guy, if it's not that, he has improved greatly. I was thinking of lead guitar. I said, who do I call to do this lead guitar? Because I like lead guitar. And he dawned on me, let me call her now. Fortunately, Sunday when I came to church, this guy was holding acoustic guitar. I said, wow. And now you remember that acoustic, yeah. And I said, Divine, make sure this guy knows how to play this thing very well. No, he knows how to play. He started with acoustic, small. And when Divine was not there, we had to make a way for and he was steadily, behind the scene, playing so, and suddenly Dancing has to go. He didn't know Dancing was going. He was not skillful. But I said he will play. He has to sit there. He has to sit there. Now when he's playing even the bass guitar, do you know how to bass guitar from the beginning? He didn't know that you know how to, But today, if this guy is wiring the thing, I said, my goodness, the thing is, my goodness. I'm talking about when you you have understanding of what you have been called to do. There is also an ability that is already in you that supplies you energy to do what you are supposed to do. Most of us, you are sitting here, you don't know that you have certain talents and abilities. Listen. If you are not able to rise up and to do anything, you will not be able to discover what is inside you. You might have the opportunity for somebody to tell you that you can do this, or you can do this, or you can do this. But if nobody tells you, what makes you angry when you go to a place? When you come to church, what faults do you see? What things that you look at that this thing needs to be corrected? God is talking to you that you have to do something about it. You cannot be in a place God will, because it's an inbuilt something. And you have to discover it by starting small and going up to be able to become skillful in it. When you go to the book of Luke chapter 2, there was a woman called Anna. This woman became a widow in a very tender age. Means that she married early. And she decided not to marry. She decided not to engage herself with anything. But he has already heard the coming of the Messiah. And so this woman said, I will intercede until the coming of the Messiah. And the Bible says that for 84 years, consistently. Now let me read it. Now there was one Anna, a prophetess, the daughter of Phinehas. Phinehas is a tribe of Asher. And Asher is one of the sons of Jacob. You know, when Jacob was about to die, and you see, certain prophecies or certain pronouncement, it doesn't just come by men. But God inspired men to say it. Why is the Bible indicating that he comes from the tribe of Asher? If you go to Genesis chapter 49, Jacob called his sons and said, let me tell you what will happen to you after I'm gone. And this woman began to prophesy. So when you go to Genesis chapter 49, verse 19, he was talking to God. It's a God. Troops will overshadow you. But don't worry. You will overcome at last. Then when you go to Asher, he said, Asher, out of Asher, the bread shall be fat. That's the King James Version. The New King James says that, it says, the bread of Asher shall be sweet. So this woman is coming from Asher, a very sweet lady. And when you go to Naphtali, verse 21, it said, Naphtali, a deer loose to do what you want to do. Then you go to 22, and it said, Joseph, you are a fruitful bowl. A fruitful bowl behind the well. And he said, you shall become, your branch shall grow and outrun a wall, a fruitful bowl. Listen, prophecy. The man looked unto a tribe, and if you check the tribes of every one of them, it happened. Like Joseph's own. If you go to Genesis 48, verse 19, you realize that from 18, 19, 20, that Jacob was praying for the sons of Joseph, and he laid hands, and he crossed the hand, and Joseph said, not so, my father, not so. He said, leave it. He shall become a great nation. And the young man shall grow and shall become a great nation. That's the verse 19 of Genesis 48. Shall become a great nation. And God was using the father to pronounce. That is why when sometimes they tell you to do something in the house of God, it doesn't mean that you are there yet, but the man of God knows what he's talking about. He knows it. He knows what he's talking about. When Jacob crossed the line, the sons, Joseph said, no. But already Joseph knew that you are a fruitful bowl. A bowl simply my son. You are a fruitful son. And so your sons shall be fruitful. And he said, your branch will leap or run over the wall. It meant they shall increase beyond boundary. They shall increase beyond boundary. You are a fruitful bowl. Prophetic word. What has God spoken to you about your life? And what do you know about your life that you are overlooking? What is the burden on your heart that you are overlooking? You have challenges. Though this prophetic word was given to Joseph, Joseph has gone through a lot. But I said, don't worry. I know that you are a fruitful bone. You are a fruitful bone. And you shall grow behind the well. Which well is talking about? It's talking about God. You shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of living water. And he says, you shall grow and you leap over the wall or you run over the wall. When you start something, nobody will give you any applause or any recognition. But know for sure that God is watching. God is watching. If you stay in this house and we are preaching, and the word of God is coming to you day in and day out, you have determined to continue what you're doing. I'm not worried about it. But do you know what you are doing with your life? Do you know what you are doing or delaying your life that you are not able to maximize the potential God has placed in your life? Anna was a prophetess for 84 years. Luke chapter 2 from 36 to 38. This woman stayed in the house of the Lord all through her life, 84 years. The prophecy was not fulfilled until he saw Jesus being dedicated and said, my eyes have seen what I'm supposed to see, and I'm ready to depart. I'm ready to depart. For 84 years, she consistently in the house of God, fasting and praying, waiting for the manifestation of a prophetic word about the coming of the Messiah, that you will see in the house of Jerusalem, the house of Israel. Redemption for the house. Give it to me. Go to verse. Say, now, go to 37. 37. 37. And this woman was a widow of about 84 years. For about 84 years, who did not depart from the temple, but served God with fasting and prayers night and day. 38, listen what it said, 38. And coming in that instant, she gave thanks to the Lord and spoke of him to all those who look for the redemption in Jerusalem. So he was praying. Jerusalem needed a redemption. But one woman kept on praying that the Redeemer might be born. One person. For the whole nation, they need redemption. For the redemption in Jerusalem. Because of redemption in Jerusalem, this woman kept on going with fasting and prayer. And he was not, worried about any enjoyment, everybody, because he has found her purpose. Ecclesiastes chapter 5 verse 3. Ecclesiastes chapter 5 verse 3. Ecclesiastes chapter 5 verse 3. For a dream come through the multitude of business. A dream come through. You cannot have a vision or a purpose and you just do it 1, 2, 3 and you are getting opposition, or you are frustrated, or you are not getting through, and you just give up because somebody says something, nobody is giving applause, nobody is acknowledging you, and because of that, you are looking for the applause of men, and as a result, you give up. No, as long as you make a mistake, make sure that you are not looking to anybody, because a dream will come through the multitude of business. You are doing it. Every dream will not come easily. No dream comes, on the silver platter. No. There's going to be an opposing force. Discouragement, disappointment. You are going to be discouraged by men. But you have to know that I cannot give up on this. You ask Bigot, you think it just became what it is? You tried. There's this president who failed up. He ran for about 4. Abraham Lincoln. Now he's one of the top president in America here. He ran first, or he failed. Second, he failed. He didn't give up. You know that is the purpose God brought him to this earth. And when you sat on the seat, he made a great impact. Abraham Lincoln, he made a great impact. Your impact must be felt. Your life must influence somebody. You cannot live on this earth here, eat and sleep, eat and sleep, eat and sleep. What is your use on earth here? Why are you in this kingdom? What is propelling you to go to the house of God? Do you see something that you think that you can correct it? You can you can affect the work of God. You can change the situation. John 10 says that the enemy comes not, but he comes to steal, to kill, and to destroy. Then they said, but Jesus came that we might have life and have it more abundantly. There was a reason of the coming of the Messiah. If God had the mind to give a reason for his son to come to the earth, there is a reason for you and me on this earth here. You cannot live on this earth here and see yourself that you are just part of an organization. No. What is your purpose? Why are you in the kingdom in such a time like this? Why? Why are you in this kingdom in such a time like this? John 18, verse 34, 35. John 18. John 18. John 18. 36. No. Start from 34. Jesus answered him, are you speaking for yourself about this, or do it in order to tell this concerning me? 35. Pilate answered, am I a Jew? Your own nation and the chief priests have delivered you to me. What have you done? 36. Jesus answered, my kingdom is not of this world. What did he say? He knows his purpose. My kingdom is not of this world. If my kingdom were of this world, my servant will have fight. Knowing that if I'm going to be occupied by everything because this one said this one said this one, so you are engaged in the wrong battles because everybody is trying to make you feel that. And he said, no. I'm not going to answer everything. I'm not going to be worried about whatever question you're asking me because I know myself. I'm not going to fight over this issue because my kingdom is not of this world. He knows his purpose. If my kingdom were of this world, my servant will have fight so that I should not be delivered to what? To the Jews. But now, my kingdom is not from here. Do you see yourself? Your kingdom is not from here? Which kingdom do you belong? Who is your master? If your master is saying that my kingdom is not of this world, he knows what he's talking about because there's going to be confrontation and all manner of things that will discourage you or make you to begin to engage in things that is not necessary. That is not what the kingdom sent you down here for. He said, no, I'm not going to fight. I'm not going to fight over this. My kingdom is one of here. If I have to fight, I have servant that can fight. But I'm not fighting because my kingdom is not of here. He knows his purpose. He knows his purpose. Listen, don't allow the time that God has given to you on this earth to become a waste. Don't. Because you are being endowed with certain talents and abilities that you have no idea that God to you to make an impact. Jeremiah chapter 1, verse 5. When God influences or writes your purpose and you don't know, and you are just walking around. Jeremiah chapter 1, he said, he was talking, he said, before I form you, before, not when you came to, before I formed you, in the womb, I knew you. Before I formed you, I knew you. Before you were born, I sanctified you. Go. I ordain you a prophet to the nations. Because some of us, we believe that our parents gave birth to us, so we are in this earth because our parents gave birth to us. Fine. That is why you have to understand that our earthly parents are not, you don't choose your earthly parents. None of us here chose our earthly parent. And so when God said, honor your mother and father, God chose them and used them to make sure that you come onto this earth here. And give them the grace to be able to raise you up. And so if you dishonor and disrespect your parent, you are disrespecting God himself. Telling him that you make a mistake to make me to come to this family. Yes, they are not what you want. But who knows that you are in that family to make a change? Who knows? Who knows? When Samson was being born, there was a particular assignment on Samson for the deliverance of the house of Israel. Who knows? That God is raising you up in your family or your house or your house, your community to do something dramatic to bring a change in the area. Your presence in this life should not be a waste. Before your mother formed you, I knew you and I ordained you as a prophet. What has God made you to become? And what is God expecting you to become? Are you just church goer? I keep on saying this because some of you still don't get it. Because you are used to church. I don't understand. When you don't know something, someone is trying to teach you that what you are doing, that's not the practical purpose of why the church was designed. The church was not designed for fellowship, which is part of it. But the church is supposed to equip. I'll come to that. And so, from the womb, you have been. Give me Galatians chapter 1, verse 15. Listen to what Paul said. Paul's the one who was killing people and destroying lives. And he thought that was the vision that God he had been given. When he got to a point in life, now he realized that, but when it pleased God, who separated me from my mother's womb and called me through his grace. If you were separate from through his grace, why were you killing people? Why were you destroying things? Because the understanding was not there. But when the understanding came, Paul was bold to declare, but when it pleased God, who separated me from my mother's womb. So from my mother's womb, God separated Paul. He said, I was separated right from my mother's womb for a purpose and for a reason. God separated you from my mother's womb for a reason, for a purpose. And you are overlooking it. And I came this morning to bring awareness that when you come to this kingdom, you have to discover your purpose. And when you discover your purpose, you might not have all the material and all the necessary training, but as you have that purpose, it drives you. Which books to read, who to talk to, how do I perfect this thing, how to raise myself to a standard that can become a blessing. Some of us standing here, we didn't enter the house of God because we wanted to become pastors. No, nobody told me I was going to be a pastor. But when I entered and looking at the multitude of business in the house of God, I was concerned of every department. Me sitting here, I can, every department, you sing over here, I can know that you are making mistake. You sing over here, I know you are making mistake. If you are playing a keyboard, you are playing, I'm listening. I'm worshiping, I'm listening. Not to correct you, but I follow everything. Let me put that one aside. Because I have been in every department and work in every department. So it's something which I have an idea, but not specifically. So when the time came, I had to be separated from, just branches into the main branch of the headquarters of our ministry, and I was sitting there. And I looked back and I said, when we started going to house evangelism, doing crusades in from different places, going to market, to witness, going to houses to go and pray for people, and all those, God were preparing us for a greater assignment. And today I'm standing here talking to you. There is somebody prophesied to me that you're going to preach America. No. The only thing I remember that one more little, maybe 7, 8 years. My grandfather kept on saying, one of my seed will be in overseas. That time, nobody even understood what he was saying. We're standing in overseas and do God's work. I was young, but I still remember this prophecy. Because I kept on telling this, my friend, my friend was always, the Lord laid upon him to, be driving wherever I go. So I kept on telling him that I'll bow me travel. I'll bow me, because my grandfather made a pronouncement, and I believe it is me. I believe it is me. I believe it is me. So when it happened, he knew that I was speaking about it. Listen, there is a knowing that comes to you that if you override, it might not come back again. There is a burden that comes upon you. If you get yourself described by somebody or what somebody said, you might not come back to it. But Paul had opportunity to have an encounter with Jesus. And out of that, he remembered, no, all this burden I have, it didn't just start today. I have this burden a long time ago. But I was channeling the anger and everything wrongly. But now I know that right from the womb, God supported me for this work I'm doing right now. Amen. So there are certain things you see that sometimes the pastor will not even see. Because you are concerned about the church, about the place, about the family, to understand that you see things and you say it because you believe something has to be done about it. And God is giving you an idea that carry it out and do something in my kingdom. Listen, when we started as evangelism, we didn't have any idea about evangelism. No. Me standing here, nobody sat me down to teach me evangelism. That's how they do it. No, but God, everything we will do it. I have to pray for sick. No, nobody taught me that. But when I started, I said, this one will have to rise up. This one, this sick had to go. And he had to go. When I say it's good to go, why is he not going? Why is he standing there? What is that? And that boldness made us to do extraordinary work. It's not just bragging. I just don't talk because I want to, influence you to do something for God. You can do it. You can do it. Listen, this kingdom you have come in, there are more talents, there are more, opportunities, because God has called you into a kingdom such a time like this for his divine assignment and divine purposes. When you go to the book of Romans chapter 12, it said, I beseech you, brethren, that you be transformed by the renewal of your mind, and do not conform to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind. When Paul was saying that, he had an idea that men that God has called, if they can fulfill their divine assignment, It comes by the renewal of their mind, knowing who they are in the kingdom. So chapter 12 verse 1, he started talking about being ye transformed by the renewal of your mind. Then, give me verse 6 to 8. Then he began to talk about when you have renewed your mind, you have to know that you are not in this kingdom for part of the kingdom. There is an assignment on your life that you have to, execute on earth here. Then he began to talk about it. That after you have transformed. So you can only lift yourself and do the work of God when you have changed your mind about how you see yourself and how people view you and how you think that you are limited. You have to change your mindset and begin to know that this kingdom that you have come in, the resources of God is already bedding, it's built inside. It's a capacity that God has built inside you. This microphone, it is able to transmit because there is a capacity built inside here that is able to transmit. It doesn't have any, wire, but when you speak, because of the capacity of how it was manufactured, it has the ability to transmit. It has ability to transmit. So, once you come to the kingdom, there is an inbuilt, they call it an innate ability. INNATE, innate ability. A capacity that God has implanted in you that makes you to become successful in whatever you are doing. You shall become very small, but you can become big because you know what you are doing. Let me read from verse 6. This is what it says. Having then gift different according to the grace that is given to us. There is a grace. There is an ability. There is an implant force inside you. The grace that is given to us. Let us use them. He said, brother, use the grace. Use the grace that is upon your life. Let us use them. If prophecy, let us prophesy in proportion to our faith. Go. Our ministry. Let us use our ministering. Talking about hospitality. Ministry to people. Hospitality. How you can host people in the house of God as ushering, or how you be able to encourage people to be part of God's work. Hospitality, ministry to people. Let us use it in our ministry. He who teaches in teaching, because if you're a teacher, what you do is that you open the eyes of people to know the truth. You open the eyes of people to do what? To know the truth. So you are not just working in the house of God. When there's something happened in the book of Acts chapter 18, there was this great man, Acts 18:24. He has come to Jerusalem and he was walking around and preaching and talking. And but look at the way Bible describes him. He said, you look at the situation and said, that this guy needs any help. But that's what happened. Now, a certain Jew named Apollos, born Alexandria. Alexandria is one of the cities, in Egypt, where, they have libraries and philosophies. And so it's a well-known in Egypt. And so the Bible is indicating that this guy is not a small man. He is well-versed in knowledge. He comes from Alexandria. An eloquent man and a mighty in the scriptures came to Ephesus. So he's eloquent, meaning that he knows what he's talking about. But let's see what happened. This man had been instructed in the way of the Lord, meaning that he had been taught the way of the Lord. Okay? And being fervent in spirit, He spoke and taught accurately. So this man, if you read, he said, oh, you applaud, he said that this man is doing very well. He's doing very well. He's doing very well. All what they are saying, he's doing very well. This is what happened. And being fervent in spirit, he spoke and taught accurately in the things of the Lord. Wow. Applause, he's doing very well. Though he knew only the baptism of what? Of John. So the guy had knowledge, but limited. So you need someone to be teaching him. He was from Alexandria, where library. So this guy is knowledgeable, but he's limited. All he knew was about the baptism by John. And so this guy is still in the Old Testament. And so he's just talking about the Old Testament, the Old Covenant. And I mean, he was fluent because that is where he has been trained. And also, so to him, he's champion. Then he go to Ephesus. Listen what the woman did. Let's go. So he began to speak boldly in the synagogue. When Aquila and Priscilla heard him, they took him aside. They were talking boldly. They preaching. They didn't disgrace him. No, the guy is knowledgeable, but limited. He didn't know anything about the death of Christ, the resurrection of Christ, and the outpouring of the Holy Spirit. So he was continuing with the old stuff. But this woman, Aquila and Priscilla, these are disciples of Paul. They have walked with Paul, and they know the truth. They know the in and out of what Christ came to do on earth here. So the gift has imparted. Paul was a teacher, and he has imparted that teaching onto Aquila and Priscilla. They said, this is our brother. So sometimes some people are doing something in the church. If you have a teaching spirit, you call the person, say, brother. I'm showing you this. Sometimes you see some people talking. You see that they're talking. When even I use unbeliever, it's wrong. He has not even got close to salvation. Because look, don't work with people when they are using certain words and you are standing there. They defy you. They will defy you. Yes. They will defy you. This woman didn't disgrace him. Because they saw this, our brother, he knows something, but he needed much information. As I'm teaching you, if you're going to listen to me, you start somewhere, you preach, and will ask you, which Bible school did you go? Yes. You'll be able to marvel. Which Bible school did you go? You went to Bible school in Open Heavens. This woman walked with Paul. Aquila, Priscilla heard him, and they took him aside and explained to him the way of what? Of God more what? Accurately. More accurately. That's what I'm trying to do. You have to know the way of the Lord that you can explain. If even you are not a singer or a preacher, you have the ability to explain the knowledge of God to somebody. Because where you have been raised is religious place, so to him, he goes to church. But God didn't come on this earth yet through his son Jesus to raise religious people. He came to raise up his sons, to carry his legacy. To carry his legacy on earth here. That is why the disciples can walk in Antioch and the people can identify them that these are little Christ. Because they could see Christ in them, the way they are talking, the way they are acting. Who can point hand on you and say, hey, this one is a child of God? Nobody knows you. Those people, they didn't have any badge, they didn't have any banner, they didn't have any t-shirt. Now we have t-shirt, Jesus is Lord, Christ is coming. They didn't have anything to identify them but their fruit. By their fruit. By their fruit. By their fruit. They knew them. What is your purpose? And what is your calling? Let's go back to, no, jump to Ephesians chapter 4, verse 11 and 12. This is what when Paul was telling, the church, that what the purpose of Ephesians chapter 4, verse 11. And he himself gave some to be what? Apostles, and some prophets, and some evangelists, and some pastors, and some teachers. So you cannot say, I'm in the church, I don't have anything to do. If you don't have any, you at least you are an evangelist. If you don't have anything, you can't talk about Christ. Bye, brother, sister. When they distributed the gate, you didn't get anything. No, don't do that. There is an inbuilt ability that the grace of God upon your life to do something for the kingdom. Go to verse 12. For the equipping of the saints, for the work of the ministry. Listen, for the equipping of the saints, for the work of the ministry. And so, for the edifying of the body of Christ. So, somehow, God is looking up to you that you can make an impact. You can become a branch of God. You are a fruitful bowl, and your branch will leap over the wall. Whatever you are doing, make yourself available and to know that, yes, I'm doing my secular job, but I know that is not what God is going to ask me. It will be part of what account I'm going to give out. I handle my work. But what is my use in the kingdom? What is your use in the kingdom? You listen to all these messages. When you get out of here, the devil said, James said, he said, don't just be a hearer of the word and be the doer. And most of us, we just said, we want to hear. No, Pastor, don't worry yourself. No, you talk, we hear. Oh, we hear it always. Just go ahead and talk. Why is he worried about us? We are fine. You are not fine. You think you are fine? You wait when Christ comes today. Then you will know whether you are fine or you are not fine. You think you are fine? What account are you going to give with the life? What account? What are you going to tell God about you want to live 90 years? 90 years. And all the 90 years was a waste. No, you can't do that. Anna was in the church for 84 years. 84. Not 30, 84 years. Or Anna was a widow. If you do, what are you doing? I want us to look into our life and be honest to ourselves that this gift of life, this gift of God in us, what have we done with? Do you have a purpose in this kingdom? Do you have a purpose in life? Purpose will always make you to have clarity of life and also focus. Everybody can be doing things, but you will not be swayed by whatever everybody is saying or doing. Because purpose will always give you clarity in life. Because you don't want to be like everyone, because your vision is completely different from the vision somebody's walking through. You walk on this 8 year. If this one say this way, you're going. If this one say here, you're going. If this one say let's jump, you jump. What are you doing? Do you know who you are? And what is your purpose in the kingdom? A day is coming. You stand before your maker. And you realize that you had all the opportunity to do something for the kingdom. But because your ambition will always override the purpose of God. Your ambition. You can follow your ambition to the extent that it will override, overshadow, or eliminate the purpose of God over your life. In your effort to chase your ambition, you will throw away the purpose and the calling of God over your life. But I came That as much as you are steadily follow your ambition, make sure you don't lose focus. Because purpose will give you clarity and focus in life.
Thank you for being with us today, whether here in person or online. We're so grateful you joined us. Remember, God's plan for you are good and will bring you to an expected end. Stay connected with us on social media, website, and Open Heavens app for uplifting messages, events, and opportunities to grow in faith. Have a wonderful, joy filled week. See you back next week.